Now we're going to create a report, and so I'll select the Create tab and I'll select Blank Report because I'm going to use a blank template. Just as with forms, there are many built-in templates as well as a wizard to create reports. But every technique that we see in this demonstration can be applied to any reports, whether they're created using this method or any of those methods listed. Initially, we're going to define the source of the data for the report, and so I'll select the property sheet and select the Data tab, and then in Record Source I can select the Build button, and we're going to create a report detailing the sales by employee. We could either use a query that covers this data, or we can define a SQL query using the Query Builder. By clicking Build, we've gone to the Builder, and now we can add employees, orders and order details tables by selecting each of these tables and clicking Add. Now we can select Close, and we want the employee's name, and so in Employees we'll double click ID, first name and last name. We also want the date. This comes from the Orders table, so in Orders we'll double click Order Date, and we want the total price, and so in the next column I'll type price, unit price in square brackets, asterisk, quantity in square brackets. In Table for this new column, I'll select Order Details because that's where the values are coming from for that sum. I can now select Close, and we want to get the builder to create the SQL query for us, so we'll select Yes, and we'll now add the fields that we want to the table. So I'll select the Design tab, select Add Existing Fields, and drag Order Date onto the report. And I'll also drag Price, that calculated column, onto the report as well. This is too basic at the moment, and we want some summary information. So I'm going to select the View drop-down arrow, select Print Preview to have a look, and we can see that it doesn't have the detail we want. And I'll select Close Print Preview to go back to Design View. We will set up grouping so that we get totals by month and totals by employee. And so I'm going to drag Order Date to the Group, Sort and Total area. Then I'll select More. Now you'll see the grouping level by default is by quarter, but we can change this. So I'll change by quarter to by month. And I'll also select with no totals. But I'll change the total on to price so that we get totals of price. We also want to specify that there will be subtotals by month and a grand total at the end. So I'll select Show Grand Total and Show Group Subtotal in the group footer. I also want to group by employee, and so I'll add grouping by employee ID, although we'll actually get it to display the employee's name. So I'll drag ID to the Group, Sort and Total area, select More, select with Price Totaled, and change the total on price again to Price. The grand total was already specified when we grouped by month, and so we just have to add a total for each employee. So I'll select Show Group Subtotal in Group Footer. And we're going to use Design View to complete the design because we have a few more options. So I'll select the View drop-down arrow and select Design View. As I said, I don't really want the ID, I want to replace it with the name. So what I'm going to do is delete the ID field in the ID header and also delete the ID label in the page header, and then drag first name from the field list to that ID header, delete the first name label, and then drag the first name field to the left hand side. And so we can arrange it how we want. Now actually I don't just want their first name, so rather than displaying just the first name or displaying the name in two separate fields, I want to use a calculation to display the whole name. So what I'm going to do is change the control source to first name plus a space plus last name. I'm then going to change the name of this to full name, and also we want to change the label control in the page header, and I want to change that to the full name control. And I'm going to change it so it says name. So we have name as the label and then we have their full name. And now we're going to add a report header that appears at the very top of the report. So in the report header, I'll change the title to Employee Sales. And now I want to view the final report, and so I'll select View from the drop-down arrow and select Report View. As with forms, the limits on reports are only your imagination. This is a good starting point. Now have a go at creating a report based on an existing query using the Report Wizard.